Welcome to Distance Learning. Today is Tuesday, March 31st, 2020. Today's math lesson is 6.4, partial quotient division. Today we will learn to divide two-digit numbers by one digit using the method called partial quotient. Before we start the lesson, let's go over some vocabulary words which are very important for today's lesson. Dividend, the number being divided. 35 divided by 5 equals 7. 35 is the dividend. The number being divided is called the dividend. Usually, the bigger number is the dividend. So here in this particular problem, 35 is the dividend. Divisor. The number that divides the dividend is called the divisor. So in this particular problem, number 5 is the divisor. Okay. Quotient. The answer or the result of dividing two numbers is called the quotient. 7 is the quotient right here. 35 divided by 5 is 7, and that is 7 is the quotient. If you still need a little bit more review on the vocabulary words, please rewind this video and try and learn the dividend, divisor, and quotient. Okay, let's do the math message. Please make sure that every time we start a math lesson, you always have your math notebook and a pencil with you. If you do not have one right now, please pause this video and go get your math notebook and a pencil. Let's read this problem together. The art club is making a rectangular mural for the gym wall. They have 98 square foot tiles. If the club members want the mural to be 7 feet long, how tall will it be? So let's try and figure out what they're asking. Let's go to the next slide. What do we ask? First, we ask yourself, what do we know? The mural is a rectangle. It had area is 98 square feet. The length is 7 feet. And we need to find out the height. If you want to write a number model, we could write 98 divided by 7, and the unknown quantity would be h. Next, let's estimate this. For 98, we could make 100, and for 7, we could do 10. So 100 divided by 10 was 10 feet. So we estimate that the answer is 10 feet high. Now, let's figure out 3 different ways that we could solve this problem. We could do repeated subtraction. We could draw a picture, or draw an array to represent rows of 7 tiles. Or we could find multiples of 7. So we know that 7 times 10 is 70, keep going on, and then eventually we'll find 7 times 14 is 98. So we'll know that the answer is 14, okay? So it'll be 14 sevens in 98. So let's see if we got the right answer, and it is 14 feet. So that method was finding multiples. But there is a different method we could use, and that's the method we're going to learn today. Okay? So now, before we learn that method, I want you to solve one problem. So what you need to do is pause this, read the next problem, pause the recording, and try and solve it. I'm going to read the problem to you. Beena needs 72 muffins for a party. The muffins are sold in boxes of 4. How many boxes does Beena need? So let's go over the problem before we solve it. What do we know? 72 muffins in all. There are 4 muffins per box. What do we need to find out? The number of boxes Beena needs. And the number model could be 72 divided by 4. And we chose the number of quantity unknown would be B. Estimate 72, we could do 80. 80 divided by 4 is 20. So we estimate it to be 20 boxes. Now please pause this video and try and solve this problem. Okay, good job, boys and girls. Thank you for trying to solve the problem. So what I did was I did the multiples of 4, and I went all the way to 18, and I found 72. So we know that 4 times 18 is 72. So then what's the answer? There'll be 18. She'll need 18 boxes. But like I had mentioned earlier, there's a different method we're going to be trying using today, which is called partial quotient method. We're going to watch a short video on how to do partial quotient, and we're going to solve the same problem using partial quotient. Okay, so let's go to the next slide and watch this video. Okay, it's loading.
We want to use long division to find the quotient. We have a 2-digit number divided by a 1-digit number. For this example, instead of using the traditional long division algorithm though, we use a method called partial quotients. The first step is to write the quotient in long division form, which is this form here. These two division problems are equivalent, where A is the dividend, B is the divisor, and C is the quotient. So we'll write 76 divided by 4 as 76 divided by 4 in this form here. And for the partial quotients method, we'll draw a vertical line to the right of our problem here. We'll record the partial quotients on the right. Before we begin though, because the divisor is 4, it'll be helpful to list some products involving 4 that we can easily determine. For example, we know that 1 times 4 equals 4, 2 times 4 equals 8, 3 times 4 equals 12. Of course, we can continue. Let's just list 2 more. Let's list 5 times 4 equals 20, and 10 times 4 equals 40. Now going back over to our division problem, for the partial quotients method, we begin by considering the entire dividend of 76. We want to determine a certain number of 4's that we know for sure are in 76. So looking back at our products, because 10 times 4 equals 40, and 40 is less than 76, we know there are at least 10 4's in 76, so we'll use 10 as our first partial quotient. So we'll place a 10 on the right here. Now we multiply by the divisor. 10 times 4 is equal to 40. So we place the 40 below the 76, and now we subtract. 76 minus 40 is equal to 36. Now we repeat the process. We want to determine a certain number of 4's that we know for sure are in 36. Let's just say we don't remember that 9 times 4 equals 36. Looking at our products here on the right, let's say we want to use the fact that we know that 5 times 4 equals 20. Because 20 is less than 36, we know there's at least 5 4's in 36. So 5 will be our next partial quotient. So we place a 5 on the right, multiply by the divisor. 5 times 4 is equal to 20. Place a 20 below the 36, and again we subtract. 36 minus 20 is equal to 16. And again we repeat the process. We want to determine a certain number of 4's that we know are in 16. And again, let's just say we didn't remember that 4 times 4 is equal to 16, but we did remember that 3 times 4 is equal to 12. Because 12 is less than 16, we know there's at least 3 4's in 16. Let's use 3 as our next partial quotient. So place a 3 on the right. 3 times 4 is equal to 12. Place the 12 below the 16 and subtract. 16 minus 12 is equal to 4. We repeat the process. Because this difference is 4 and so is the divisor, we can easily recognize there's 1, 4, and 4. So 1 is our last partial quotient. 1 times 4 equals 4. Once again, we subtract. In this case, the difference is 0, so our remainder is 0. Now we want to sum the partial quotients on the right. 10 plus 5 plus 3 plus 1 equals 19, which means our quotient is 19, and we don't have a remainder, and therefore 4 is a factor of 76. So the nice thing about the partial quotients method is that we can use any partial quotients that we can find based upon what we know about products involving the divisor, or in this case, products involving 4. So there are many ways to come up with this quotient because we don't have to use these partial quotients. It's also true that because 76 divided by 4 equals 19, 19 times 4 equals 76. 19 copies or 19 groups of 4 is equal to 76. I hope you found this helpful.
I think that video was really helpful, okay? If you need to listen to it again, please rewind it and listen to it. Now, let's try and do the same problem using this method. So like the gentleman had said, we have our multiplication table on the side. So we 72 divided by 4, we know the easy multiples are 4 times 10 is 40, 4 times 20 is 80, 80 is too much. So I'm going to use 4 times 10. So I am going to try this, use this color. I'm going to do 4 times 10 is 40. You subtract 72 minus 40, and 2 minus 0 is 2, and 7 minus 4 is 3. Then I'm going to look at my force table again. We know that 4 times 8 is 32. So I'm going to use 4. 8 is 32. Subtract, I get 0, and I add it up, and the answer is 18. Just like we had solved earlier. Right here, 72 divided by 4 is 18. We did it in this method. Now, when we do it with the partial quotient, we get the same answer, okay? If you need to listen to this again, please rewind it and listen to it. Now, I would like you to do this problem on your own. Please pause this video. Do 84 divided by 6. Once you finished doing the problem, please go to the next slide. Okay, thank you for doing that problem. Now let's see how to divide 84 by 6 using the partial quotient method. So I have the 6 table here. I'm going to use 6 times 10, 60. Okay, I'm going to do easy method. I know I could do 6 times 12, but I want to do the easy multiples. So I'm going to do 6 times 10. Let me use this. 6 times 10 is 60. 4 minus 0 is 4. 8 minus 6 is 2. And now I'm going to look at the 6 table, and I know 6 times 4 is 24. So I'm going to do 4 here, minus 24, 0. And I add this up. I get 10 plus 4 is 14. I know that 84 divided by 6 should equal 14. Okay. If you want to listen to this video again, please rewind it and listen to this method. Okay. So today we learned about partial quotient. We did 2 digits by 1 digit. So please do the worksheets that have been uploaded for you in your Google Classroom. You can write down the answers in the math notebook. Okay. Good luck.